Good morning. It's another hump day, and here I am, Valerie Shepard, coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self Mastery. We're going to have another conversation about how you master you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. Yay. Getting superiority over the things that happen so that I can ensure that I'm having a really exquisite experience of my life. So here's some stuff that's bringing my way today. I am still full, still full from all the yummy things I got to eat this weekend. I mean, how exciting is that? Um, I hope that those of you in the US who are also celebrated Thanksgiving, United States Thanksgiving, that you had an enjoyable and fun time. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it myself. So um, I had a really wonderful experience up until a point. I want to share with you kind of what happened with me this weekend that leads into what I want to talk about today. So, the title of today's Hump Day Happy Chat is Why on Earth Would You Conjure That? Why on earth would you conjure that? So, my experience of the weekend was that I took some time off. I took off Wednesday to drive where I was going to experience my Thanksgiving. And then I had some beautiful time with family. Uh, and yes, we did safe things. And yes, we had made sure that we had been kind of pre quarantined and were washing things down. And there were only three of us for most of it. And here's the thing, I got to a certain point in that beautiful weekend experience. I got to a certain point when all of a sudden I was in my head and I could tell I was there. I could tell that I was in my head. I'm going to check on one thing here on Facebook. Pardon me. Um, and I all of a sudden started thinking about um, the things that were happening, the things that were going to happen because of what I wasn't doing. Have you ever had that happen? Like 2 days before your vacation ends, you're already back at whatever that was that you aren't doing because you're on vacation. Um, there's a point at which I notice this for myself, and I'm so excited to know it because now I can be a lot more engaged with myself before it happens next time. But I noticed there was this voice inside me, and it was coming from me. It's not out there telling me like I'm goofing off. I'm not engaged in work enough. I'm not um, getting enough done. I'm not being productive. That was a big one when I was younger. I'm not being productive. Um, Worrying about what I was missing, what I wasn't doing, what I wasn't having happen. Something not right there. This video looks really ooky. Looks kind of weird to me. I'm not sure what the problem is, so I'm gonna have to deal with that in a minute. Um, and I noticed it, like, wow, there's a place in me where I won't let myself have fun, where I won't let myself do nothing, be about getting nowhere except where I am in this very moment. Good morning. Thanks for joining. And that's what this title's all about. I was conjuring in my head what was going to happen as a result of me spending a little too much time, having a little too much fun, a little too much time doing a little too much of nothing. Does that ever happen to you? Do you ever catch yourself? And that's the key part of the question, right? Catching yourself. Do you ever catch yourself? Why is that a key part of the question? Because that means you're awake, you're aware, you're in the present moment, noticing you doing something, being some way. Like that's where personal development happens. That's where self mastery happens in those moments of noticing. This is the big question. Who are you being when you think you're being you? So, who is I being in that moment? We'll come back to that. But do you ever notice yourself in your head telling stories about what was, and most importantly, about what's going to be? What's going to be? And then, if you are telling those stories, what are the scenes like? Are the scenes maybe filled with elements that uh, raise your concern? Are they filled with elements that are a little scary? Are they filled with boogeymen and women and goblins under the bed or behind the next opportunity or the next conversation? Like, how are the elements of the stories you're telling yourself nurturing and positive and supportive versus triggering concern and worry and fear and grief or resentment or shame or guilt? Like, it's you. That is the most important thing to understand. It's you. It's coming from inside of you. So, the definition of conjuring, the performance of tricks, which are seemingly magical, typically involving a sleight of hand. So, that's the Oxford Dictionary definition. One of the synonyms is deception. Deception. Eek, yikes. How am I deceiving myself with what I'm conjuring? To deceive, to believe something that is not true, typically involving a sleight of hand. Whoops. Look over there. The Wizard of Oz, one of my favorite scenes was ignore that man behind the curtain, right? You could see the sleight of hand being created by the man behind the curtain. And in this question, why would you conjure that? In that question, the person behind the curtain is you. This weekend, it was me. The person behind the curtain conjuring reasons for me to feel like I shouldn't be where I was enjoying myself that much. I should be working. I should be productive. I should be gronking. I should be proving. I should be striving. I should be struggling, but certainly not relaxing and having fun. And the conjuring that came up was what would happen as a result of my giving myself some enjoyable experiences with people who I cherish. Isn't that interesting? What a beautiful thing to be doing, a beautiful way to treat myself, a beautiful thing to present to myself, an opportunity to spend time with people I cherish, doing things I love, and to conjure that some negative ramification was going to come as a result of this time, this thing. Why would we do that? So, this created story that isn't wholly true is coming from inside of us. Now, a little sidebar here, there is a movie franchise called The Conjuring that is loosely based on real life events surrounding these two sort of um, paranormal experts, Ed and Lorraine Warren. And I kind of like them. I'm not a big horror fan, but I like movies that are based on even loosely, based on real life events. And there's some real stuff going on in these movies with these two people in their family around paranormal. And the thing about paranormal is it's there's evidence of it having happened, right? It happened. Like, we don't fully understand it. It looks like it's bringing different worlds together, the past into the future, etc. I'm not a paranormal expert, but that's what I believe is going on. And so the movie was based on reality. But that's not what's going on in the movies that you and I are conjuring. In the movies that you and I might be conjuring, the mind is ruminating on things that in general we don't want to happen, but we think they're going to. We've given some credence to an idea, and the idea came from our past. The idea comes from our conditioning. The idea comes from us believing we need to be something other than who we really are. And so we create these versions of ourselves so that we fit in, or we find friends, or we feel fabulous. We create these versions of ourselves thinking, or maybe subconsciously believing, that we'll be okay, we'll be loved, we'll be cherished ourselves, we'll feel safe, we'll feel beautiful, we'll feel lovable, we'll be healed, all will be well. We create these stories as a way to have those things. But in your life, when your mind runs away with you, ruminating on things that are not good, and actually things you don't want to have happen, you're setting up a really big problem. Why is that? And here's what happens often, right? We sit and we think and we worry and we conjure and we worry and we conjure. And then the very thing we were worried about shows up. Oh my gosh. I didn't want that to happen. I've been saying, I don't want this to happen. I've been saying, please don't let this happen. Hi, thank you for joining. I've been saying that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And then here it is. Life is so cruel. Yes, I have done it. A large part of my life. And this is part of the reason why I'm so into this conversation right now. That waking up and seeing yourself doing things that are not serving you is the only way that you really change your life. It's not up to them and that and that. It's not out there. It's really in here. It's really in here. And you have causal nature. You don't have to choose to be at effect to what's going on, even if it's going on in your mind. You can notice and shift. Notice and shift. You can give up your whole sleight of hand. You can give up creating things in advance, conjuring things that you don't want, and then looking back going, I knew that would happen. Conjuring is not necessarily a bad thing. It's what are you conjuring? Why on earth would you conjure that? So here's the idea that you're creating it in advance. You are creating your reality. Why? Because you are energy. Everything in the universe is energy. The vibration of the field of energy that you are, be with your beliefs, your habitual patterns of thought. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Even if you don't hear them in here, but they're in your heart. They're in your entire energy field. The idea that you're not lovable, whatever those negative ideas are, well, I won't say negative. I'll say those ideas that don't serve you. Whatever those ideas are, they have a vibrational energy field. And whatever you spend the bulk of your time thinking about, here's a key. Whether it's conscious, I know I'm doing it, I know I'm doing it, I'm doing it, or it's subconscious below the surface or unconscious, completely unavailable to you. You're not even aware that's in there. That's been coming up for me lately. Like, what? That is inside me? Thank goodness for my spiritual counselor. Whether you know it or not, those things are creating your vibration. Then they create the attraction of the things into your life because of universal laws: law of attraction, law of reflection, and hermetic principles. Hermetic principles say, as above, so below, as within, so without. What's going on in here has to show up out there. It's not the other way around. We perceive something happened out there and now I'm angry. They said something and they made me feel this way. Not really. Something happened out there. It may have triggered, like ping, it turned on something, but that something was already inside. That's how the same people can experience the exact same thing and have completely different. 100 people can have 98 different experiences of the exact same moment in time. There's a Hump Day happy chat on that called Vantage Point. Check that one out. So when you're conjuring, whatever is going on in your vibration is governed by the universal laws, universal spiritual laws, just like the universal law of gravity affects all of us and all things at all times, 24/7, 365, whether you know it or not, believe it or not, understand it or not, like it or not. Doesn't matter. You can rant and rave about gravity all you want. It is still operating on your precious body and all the things that you touch and see. That's the same thing with universal spiritual laws. They're just like the physical laws. We don't have a class very often that teaches them, not in K through 12, not in post-secondary, usually. I got something, we're working on that. Actually, we have a very successful pilot at the University of California, Irvine, that went into this stuff specifically to help young adults make this transition from late adolescence to young adulthood, understanding these laws then. I wish I had known these laws then. So the universal laws, universal spiritual laws, just like universal physical laws, cannot be defied. They are operating on you in your life all the time. So the question for this morning's Hump Day Happy Chat: why would you conjure that? Why on earth would you conjure that? Is what I was saying to myself on Sunday. After a beautiful weekend, I started conjuring all the negatives, all the work I'd have to do, all the calls I missed, all the stuff, how I might look to other people who think, gee, like, what's her deal? She's not working very hard. Well, I don't believe in that anymore. That's another conversation. I'm not in the hard work, struggle, toil, not into that. But apparently, there's a piece of me that thinks I should be. So here's what you do. Why on earth would you conjure that? Here's the rest of the question. ... When instead you could conjure this. So instead of creepy crawlies and goblins and ghosts, how about if I conjure angels and helpers and miracles? Instead of conjuring self-doubt that takes me down, why don't I conjure full-on belief? Why don't I conjure belief, believe in myself, believe, have faith and trust in the divine energy that I am attracting and bringing to me, the divine experiences that are to be mine. Yay. Instead of conjuring inability, failure, betrayal, rejection, why not conjure things that bring me this, the big yes energy in life? Why not conjure a big yes, 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 yes to what it is that you're trying to create, to what it is that you're trying to bring forth, instead of conjuring, oh my gosh, my life just never turns out the way I wanted. Why not conjure this? Everything in my life works out forever. My life works beautifully. So here is the call to action. Like, what do? You have to wake up. First step in the Happy to Be Me process is to wake up to the truth of who you are. Hello. That was curious. The phone rang, but there was nobody there. I couldn't even see a call coming in. Wake up. Maybe it was just punctuating my call to action. Wake up. Wake up in your life. See who you're being. Understand if those things that are coming from inside you are serving you. And if they aren't, create your plan of action to quiet them. You can't ever outrun them. You can't ever make them go away. They came into your experience and they created some kind of remnant. And you've built on that remnant for however long you've been on the planet, kind of misunderstanding you in your life, misunderstanding the causal nature that you are, not really owning the divinity of you and bringing that forth. They're there. So you can't just say, oh, shut up. You have to go, wow, why would I be thinking this way? Why on earth would I conjure that when I could instead conjure this? That requires curiosity. That requires compassion. That requires tolerance. I have to tolerate the fact that I'm self-sabotaging. And I have to do it with love in my heart and forgive myself as right at the same moment as I come into right relationship with it. Right relationship means shifting it to something that serves me better. When I notice it's happening, shift into something that serves me better. And this is not Pollyanna. This is not just, oh, just think nice thoughts. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about um, behavior that creates and sets a vibration that demonstrates you understand the causal nature of you and that you put that into effect. You become the cause to the effect you want in your life instead of something else causes me to feel a certain way and I'm at effect to that cause. That's what I'm talking about. Why on earth would you conjure it that way when instead you could conjure this? Is about you understanding the causal nature that you are and making a conscious, wide awake, present moment choice to be that no matter what. Yay! That's a jump for joy moment. I won't say it's easy, but it really is simple. There are times when it's like, oh, the train's already left the station. But even in that moment, noticing, I'm on the wrong track, in the wrong train, going to the wrong place. Lift yourself back up out of that thing and go the direction that really serves you. Conjure joy, peace, love, freedom. Conjure it in your life and then be that in your life. You serve the entire planet when you do. It's awesome. Why on earth would I conjure that when instead I can conjure this? That's it for this morning's Hump Day Happy Chat. Notice yourself in your life. Notice who you're being. Why are you being that? And then make a choice that actually serves you in the best way. And then keep making that choice over and 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 over. Choose happiness. Choose peace. Choose love. Choose compassion. Choose understanding. Choose joy. Choose rest. Choose forgiveness. Choose love. Unconditional love. It's who you are, so you might as well just be it. Many blessings. I'll close today's Hump Day Happy Chat as I always do with the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha, the Karanaya Sutra. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken. Wake up. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. Many blessings. Mwah. Happy Hump Day. See you next time.